all of it.
I'm talking
He
about
is the Mad Yatter.
talking to Loom about trying to claim my bit clout right now. We're
Loom
live, by the
and
way.
Fluffy Pony?
Ooh.
Dude, yeah, much like Big Cloud is a shitty fucking experiment that's gonna explode. I hope that's live.
It's a bull market, man.
We are live.
Flip it and ship it,
That is
boy.
the first content on the stream today.
Flip it and ship it.
I can't hate on it. I made a bunch of money on Jake Paul, actually.
Did you? Did
yeah,
you dump
I mean,
on
I
me then?
should.
Because I bought Jake
We are
Paul,
live.
and I'm down.
We are live. Just so,
All right. We'll talk about coins here.
But none of that shit, and I'm doing just fine.
just
How
an
about
FYI.
It's fine. It's fine.
All these NFT people, I wish them luck. I hope the artists make a ton of money. I hope these nouveau scammers all get wrecked.
I mean, that's what we hope every cycle, and never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just generally doesn't happen. They're stacking a
They
lot of
just
ETH.
win.
You're selling NFTs right now.
Yep.
ETH's doing quite well.
I'm selling Ledgerface right now, and the bid is 2.2 ETH. So I'm joining in.
That's such a good picture, though, man.
$5,000. It's a deal, really.
That's almost the cost of a steak dinner.
Is that how much you're gonna make me spend?
Jesus. Might as well, huh?
There wasn't an upper bound, right? Like,
That is true.
The upper bound is me. You're like sloshed, and I'm just telling the waiter, no more, no more. All right, Don, Carpe. All right, notifications are sent. We can
Looking good.
get to it here in just a second. I need to get Giovanni Pickle to make us intro music specific for the show.
Does he make all does he play the instruments and everything, or does he mix it up?
I don't know. It's original though. Like,
Yeah, it's a good tune.
yeah, like it doesn't flag copyright on YouTube, which is the part that matters. Like, even though I have the licensing to the songs I use, a lot of times my stuff gets flagged on YouTube as copyrighted, so I can't monetize the full video.
Oh, wow.
That's brutal.
Yes.
I have a workaround for you. I just don't want to drop that alpha right now on stream, but I'll send it to you after.
Sounds like decent alpha that the stream would enjoy, but that's okay. We can hold some close to the chest. All right, we're live. Let's get started. I'm gonna hit the buttons on all the things and act like we're beginning afresh. If that's okay with y'all.
We are.
Yep.
Great. All right. Let's see here. Um, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Weekly Open. I'm Brian, here with everybody. We'll get to them in just a second. First, let's talk about Blockfolio. Go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio to check it out today. Y'all know about Blockfolio by now. We've been talking about it every week. Seamless trading experience. Go direct from one asset to another completely on your mobile phone. Get great liquidity thanks to FTX books. Still has all the features you know and love from back as far as 2014 for tracking your portfolio, endlessly hitting refresh in a bull market. You can do that today, and now also has trading that is an excellent experience. We're pleased to have Blockfolio on the Weekly Open. Fam, go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio to check them out. Download it, use it today. Thanks to Blockfolio. What's up, guys? Luke, how you doing?
Doing well, man. I mean, gosh, I was like, what can we even talk about on a show like this when XRP is going straight up? We're just going to put 100 charts on here. We're all going to go vertical.
Okay,
but I'm bullish as ever, man.
Before you start talking about scam coins, let's get through the other folks. Josh, hello.
All right.
you start the week with that, Luke? Really?
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna start us with.
I'm bullish, man. I'm bullish on all the coins. I love them all.
All the coins.
So I guess we have to decide, is this late cycle or beginning of alt season? You know, before you say the beginning of alt season, I'm concerned for Bitcoin here because it's not making all-time highs, but that's when alts do best. So it kind of makes sense what's happening. It's just you know.
All right, so we're getting everyone's narrative bias out of the way quick. Don,
I don't have a bias, bro. I just trade. Okay.
Don, how you doing?
Alts are doing great. I called that last week. I called it the week before.
I'm making people hot
doing
this
good.
morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising, really, that XRP is really showing this much strength. I mean, off of the SEC news and all that kind of stuff. So, who knows where we are? I'm not gonna make a judgment call. I mean, chart looks decent, but we'll talk about it later, I guess.
Yep.
Yes, we will.
We can cover all the coins, but
The thing is, though, when there's fewer exchanges to trade something, it's much easier to move the price. That's important to keep in mind.
That is true. BSC did, not BSC, BSV did the same thing. Do you remember?
Yep.
When they delisted from Binance.
100%. Yep.
wait, which one was delisted from Binance?
BSV.
Oh, good. It should be delisted from everywhere. It's a
Yeah,
scam.
but I mean, look at this. If you look at this chart, right? It got delisted, I think, in here.
Yeah.
And that what came after.
Yeah. Well, doesn't surprise me too much, I guess, but it's just the way things go, you know? So far we've introed the show and talked about like 2 or 3 complete scams between XRP and BSV.
Sure.
Don, do you want to let us know like what's happened since the last weekly open on Bitcoin?
I mean, not much really, right? I mean, we broke out last, I think this was the last one, right? Let me check. Yeah, roughly. 29. I think in here, yeah. So, I mean, we broke through resistance and then we've just been going sideways. Now, I usually don't like when we're kind of breaking out of like the last major resistance and then don't immediately go up. But I mean, it's just been how the market's been moving, like just slow. And I mean, it's still looking fine to me as long as support holds. I was a little bit worried that we would dip like right after breaking the resistance, but that didn't happen. So, I mean, this dip's fine. And yeah, for me, it just makes sense to go up unless this breaks down.
Up is the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I would say up makes sense. And the only way that doesn't play out is that if it breaks down, which I mean, makes sense, right? Price go down, then price goes down. But really, like, I think as long as we're holding 55, 9-ish, that area, we're good.
Luke, what are your thoughts on it?
Thoughts on Bitcoin here?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I've said it maybe 4 weeks in a row, and I just don't do too much with Bitcoin. Just stay long. Like until the positive news cycle stops causing price to go up, like I don't see any other trade other than to just stay long. Like unless all of a sudden we start losing 49, 48K, but higher highs, higher lows. I'm keeping it pretty simple here. Not doing too much on Bitcoin.
All right, so your team up only.
Team up only.
Nice. Josh, any additional thoughts? Or are we all just moon boys for Bitcoin?
I mean, ETH is mooning, and that's a general sign of stupidity in the market. So, of course, alts are going to do well in that environment for sure. I'm super curious to see what happens when BTC breaks all-time highs. What happens to alts then?
Yeah,
I think ETH is actually better weather vane than dominance is because I've for some reason only just realized that dominance includes stablecoins, which should continue to go up forever. So I don't ever expect dominance to like mega moon again, right? You'd have to like calculate that yourself.
You mean for Bitcoin dominance to go up? Right.
Like if USDC and USDT continue to just get bigger and bigger and bigger, there's really no reason that dominance will ever go up again, right? Like,
yeah, I guess I think dominance can just be calculated better in that scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always been shitty, right?
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's always been bad, but that's a great example of why it's bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Just because I've seen a lot of stuff on, dominance and Bitcoiners and blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
like when you look at dominance under the hood, it's like, okay, yeah, it's like the ICO era, of course. Like they're just listing more and more garbage. Of course, it's going to go down,
Yeah, I've made this point multiple times, right? There's only one Bitcoin that you can make. Like this is a chart where you have one on one side and then infinite on the other, right? So it's like, I mean, this doesn't say much. As the longer crypto goes on, the worse I think of a signal this is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's not a very good signal. I've also generally used it as some degree of TA because, like most TA, if that's really the best people are looking at, then it's worth paying attention to. What I found interesting is, honestly, since August 2019, dominance has tracked like just nowhere, like along the 200-week moving average, kind of going down, but it's lost that average now. Like any kind of diagonals you wanted to give it, it lost. It's making a lower weekly low currently versus September 2020, which was the end of DeFi summer, is when it made its last dominance low. So I do think it's at a little bit of a pivotal point, which is worth watching. That said, I agree with what you said, Josh. I'm not impressed with it as a metric. One thing I'd add to Bitcoin is just that it's been consolidating really tightly. It's on the verge here of the move, and I personally am strongly biased that move is up. So that could make it kind of a fake out for dominance unless everything moons. The everything moons scenario excites me very much because ETH looks like super strong to me. It seems to be leading a bit Bitcoin. So the question is, what's going to happen with the chart that has been the focus of weekly open since we started this grind down? Will we move? Will we get confirmation, etc.? Don, I'm going to switch back to your version of the ETH BTC chart because you have the green box turned red box. Now we have to turn it back to a green box. What's the situation on ETH BTC?
I mean, we talked about this last week, right? Where I was like, okay, every chart has done this where they undercut support and then just violently moon the next week. Yeah. And same thing that happened here. It ran right. Like that was basically my target in general. Mm-hmm. If we did start closing above the resistance, but in typical kind of crypto fashion, closed above the resistance and hit the target in the same candle, which I mean, that's just what crypto loves to do. But yeah, for me, it's at resistance again. So there was a play to be made like intra week, I guess, from like the break of that resistance into the next one. And now we're at resistance again. You could make an argument for some very, very shitty head and shoulders, whatever. I'm not really in that camp. I just hope it starts closing above that resistance. And then I think we're off to good. I mean, that would like signal at least, that would be a good signal for me for alt season if that happened. And I mean, we talked about it last week too. If ETH shows strength, other coins will go up as well. And then, I mean, you've seen other coins go up pretty much the last few days. So
yep,
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it's possible if Bitcoin gets this breakout. I have another version. I showed that ascending triangle look as well. But you could call this some kind of wedge or something if you wanted, because it's not like a clean, like flat top, right? I don't prefer that look. I prefer the one that just kind of shows the horizontal levels. But when Bitcoin has an impulse, if it has a 10% day and it's like 60 to 66 or something like that, I could see that ETH BTC ratio like melting down very briefly and then getting bought back up as Ethereum catches up. That's kind of the way I would anticipate this playing, is ETH stays flat as it kind of led up, but then Bitcoin has an impulse candle like this one that ETH had from, what was it, like 1900 to 2150 or something. Bitcoin does something similar, ETH just doesn't do it, and then this takes a back seat, continues the random walk. But it did flip what I found the like most important levels, So I'm not that opinionated on which way it goes from here personally on the ETH BTC ratio. I'm just very bullish both ETH and Bitcoin at the moment. Joshua, do you have any trend following thoughts?
I love how you say my name like I'm your child. Joshua, what are you doing?
And you take over the screen if you want. Y'all don't have to unshare, just take over the existing share.
Anything above 60. Sorry, I'm about to share my screen. Anything above 60 should be good as far as entries are concerned. Yeah, if BTC is above 60, I think this is a big call here. I hope you're all sitting down. I know it's Monday, it's early, but if we break 60, I think we're going to 100. Not immediately, but very shortly thereafter, within the quarter.
6-figure Bitcoin. The yelling will be extreme on both sides.
60 to 80, 80 to 100. I think 80 is going to be the next stopping point. Sailor
which is also the R4 pivot.
R4 yearly pivot. Sailor said he bought more BTC today. I don't really think that's too big of a deal, but
at this point, when Sailor buys, I get more bearish because I feel like they're just extending their risk profile.
Well, they're just buying. Like, they don't care, right? They don't care. They're exactly the type of people I've talked about like a couple weeks ago, that some of these people getting in now don't care what the price is. They just care that they're hedged against inflation, or they're getting out of fiat, whatever it is. Those are the type of people we need at this point in time to just continue to propel us up. So there's that, and there's the BTC exchange reserves and ETH exchange reserves continue to just go down. So
yeah, that
in the Walmart news.
Yeah, what's Walmart news?
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
So this guy Vic Sharma shared and said very vaguely, just said Walmart is stacking Bitcoin. You heard it here first, and it'll be out on their May 18th quarterly earnings report, because whenever a public company like that, whether it was Tesla, whether it was MicroStrategy, they have to eventually report it. So if they actually did, if his claim is true, we'll know on May 18th. But it looks like Fluffy Pony and a couple other guys have verified that this Vic guy is just a Twitter troll. Like, he's a legit dude. I don't think he'd just share that for clout. I mean, it's a pretty wild claim to make. So I don't know. I got a couple sources saying it's legit.
I've got a couple sources.
Got a couple sources. I don't know. But I mean, we'll learn in May, clearly. But regardless, the trend is clear. It's like, it's not just MicroStrategy. It's not just Tesla. It's going to be other massive companies that keep doing this. And they don't really care about the price.
Yeah, exactly. And that would explain, I think it was 120,000 or 12,000 BTC that got pulled off of Coinbase a few days ago.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like it lines up perfect. Like they're just so price. They just don't give a shit. They want to stack Bitcoin. They're not looking for a 10% dip. They want to be long because this is like a 5, 10 year, 20-year thing for them.
Right. So you might be bearish on Sailor individually, but collectively, I think it represents the exact thing we just are talking about, where it's people, new money's coming in, and end of story. That's it. That's all it
is. Today means. A new money Monday?
Every Monday is a new money Monday.
So VIK Rant NYC is Vic Sharma's username. You can, troll him later if you like, if he's wrong, or, praise his knowledge if he's correct. On or around May 18th, 2021 is their quarterly earnings report. So that's when the truth will come out one way or the other.
People are talking about ascending triangle, and I obviously agree. I don't think you can sort of interpret this any other way at the current point in time. On BTC, again, 3/4 of the way is where you want to see a break of any pattern as far as the journey through that
Which
triangle.
Would really mean now,
Yeah, now and anytime after now is perfectly fine. Volume is clearly flat or descending, so that's also what you want to see in a short pattern. I think it looks good. I think ETH looks good. I think BTC looks good. The scams are mooning. Stuff looks good.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, the question is, do you breakout trade this if you want to add, or what are your strategies here? Everybody else.
I mean, I'm kind of in the Luke camp as well. Just chill. That's what I'm doing anyway. I'm just playing the altcoins or like the other scams. I mean, I've been playing on BitCloud. I've been playing the Yacht stuff. I mean, it's just you just kind of
you're gonna make
pick
Josh
your poison.
Yeah, I mean, Fluffy Pony is selling NFTs, I guess you'd call them. I don't even know.
Yeah, they're transitioning to like full NFTs.
And you know, NFT people think it's a new paradigm, which Godspeed, guys. But you know, that certainly worries me. I think it worries everybody when they see that girl. I forget what the meme is. Overly attached girlfriend or something.
Yeah. Sold for like 400K.
I'm super happy for her. I'm happy that these people are getting money for their likeness, right? Like that's at the end of the day, that's what this is about. For me personally, for them, you know, making this about me again. But yeah, so that's good. I'm happy for them, but it's everything else that's a little iffy.
I mean, it's definitely frothy. I mean, there's no way to say it isn't, right? When you're looking around, seeing the NFT space as it is, when you're seeing like garbage pump again. But then again, I mean, as long as money enters the crypto sphere, we're still good, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Whatever. Like that stuff always happens. I'm going to disagree with chilling because I actually think in regard to ETH and BTC, this is probably the best. Somebody share your screen, please. This is probably the best risk reward like macro trade for Ethereum and Bitcoin, like setting up a multi-month consolidation breakout. You just don't get those very often in the hype of the market. So this is the first time in a while where I've considered like maybe I need to go put some on a 5x long or something, or a 3x, or, you know, something like that, some kind of relatively low margin trade. Yeah, so I think that's worth playing, and I think your returns on that with the majors, if altcoin relative pairs start to lag, those breakouts on Bitcoin in particular, but also ETH, then I think I might rather be margin Bitcoin for once than altcoins.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same if I could actually margin trade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta remember that.
From a preference perspective, that's what you would like to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be trading this market because I mean, it's been pretty damn clean, I would say, in the last few weeks to months.
Yeah.
It's just been, Germany's is cockblocked there, but it's whatever. I mean, the altcoins have been moving enough, and there's been like so much stuff that you can do in the market these days, like that isn't necessarily entirely correlated with it. That's just completely on its own, but with exposure to crypto market. I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. So I don't really mind too much.
Yeah.
Ledger, going off your trade idea for Bitcoin, one of the interesting things, if you look back at like the past, 3 or 4 months, if you still think that this uptrend is as strong as it has been, I'm one of those people, I still think we're in a clear uptrend. Like the first couple of days of the month where that dark blue line kicks off, was that back February, March, April, and then now, like that's always been a good buy. We have not spent a lot of time. We spent maybe like half a day. I mean, we just spent 2 full days below the monthly. If we're breaking above the monthly today, and the trend is still as strong as it's been the past 2 or 3 months, this is the buy. I mean, this is nice, low leverage long, hold on to it for 30 days and you're probably doing well.
Yeah.
So another look at it. I like it.
That's the kind of approach I mean with that type of trade. I'm not saying like 25x, but like it could go to 56 or something, but that's not going to invalidate the trade for me, you know? Yeah. So I kind of I like that setup. A lot of this, it's worth noting, is probably in response to the dollar starting off the week very weak. You know, it tipped up pretty much as high as it could in my mind for like a bearish retest. And now I want to see, like, does it completely melt off of this? Does it consolidate? I tend to think it's about to kind of repeat this type of thing where it just goes through a month of doing very little. But it's nice on a new weekly to see that the dollar's not just ripping upwards to 94. And I think that's going to, even sideways, is going to signal risk on across markets. And we're seeing that in the legacy market today. Like this is just a new, like this is what I expect in Bitcoin, right? You know, I talked about this kind of goofy triangle, whatever, but no higher high. Well, when it did it, it's 3 gap up days in a row on the S&P 500. We're also seeing some recovery in the Qs, which was lagging for a bit. So to me, this is a signal of what we're going to get in Bitcoin and in crypto. So I'm like, I have a hard time being more bullish than I am right now.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry.
I was just going to say we are extremely correlated to legacy. So if legacy is bullish, you can't be bearish. You just can't be. Go ahead, Duck.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like looking at this chart is kind of crazy to me, honestly.
Oh my God, it's so insane. So absurd.
Where is this going? I mean, I've not had anyone give me a good answer for this, right? Because I mean, it looks like it's about to go parabolic, right? But what does that mean? I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is completely crazy.
I saw Bank of America apparently said like we're getting close to the first potential sell signal in legacy. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to trust like what the big banks are saying in regard to whether it's a sell signal. It makes me think either they're wrong one way or the other. Like it's imminently close to being done, like completely done, or it's going to just run for like a year, melt up. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about long term. I'm saying like I think you can be right for multiple weeks and it still be close to the end of the market. You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't take more than a few weeks to do some of the stuff I'm talking about from a bullishness perspective, you know?
We've got 12 good weeks in this quarter. Let's make them count, boys. Let's make them count,
baby.
Especially if we get that Walmart news in Q2, the seasonality. Oh man, I'm just getting all tingly inside. You know,
come on, Vic, pull through, Vic. Need the news.
Yeah.
What were you guys trading over the weekend? A lot of alts obviously popping off. We talked about XRP at the beginning of the show. We don't have to talk about XRP anymore, but DeFi wise or ETH wise, what are you guys looking at over the weekend and especially this week?
Yeah, I can start with one that I talked about on the show.
You want to share your screen, Brian?
Yeah. I'm sharing it on the stream. Y'all can't see it unless you got the stream open.
Oh, my bad.
But Aave, I talked about how I'd rather trade the like after it breaks out and play like 400 to 500 or whatever, and it's getting really close to triggering that type of trade, and I think that's interesting for DeFi across the board. However, from a Aave ETH perspective, it looks just as weak as it did because ETH has been so strong. Yeah. Aave BTC looks like basically peak entry, like right where you want to enter from on trend reversal. So that's the challenge that I think you face in all of those is like, can you outperform Ethereum if Ethereum's going to break up and shoot off of 2000? So that's where it gets tricky for me right now is like, what's the trade that's better than Ethereum?
Is there an ETH dominance somewhere?
CoinGecko has like a DeFi versus ETH dominance, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they have an ETH dominance.
I usually just play it in regard to like individual ETH pairs.
Yeah.
In a second, I'll pull up I think maybe the best way to look at that is just the DPI, DeFi Pulse Index versus Ethereum, because this is, they have a rule set. And I think this is very much going to prove my point. Like the DeFi Pulse Index does not look strong versus Ethereum, but I bet if I pull this up versus USD, it would look pretty good, and this kind of signals to me that it's just, perhaps it's Ethereum's turn. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. I mean, versus the dollar.
Oh, looks like junkaroni right there.
On that ETH pair it does, but you look at it now versus the dollar, and it looks like it's about to hypermoon like it did in the beginning of January. I mean, like that's one of the best looks I've seen on this chart since the bull market really kicked off for DeFi this year.
Yeah,
it looks amazing. It looks like it's going to 650, 700. But my thing is, that's 450. It needs to go to 900 to keep on pace with my target for Ethereum. Like I think Ethereum's going to 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on Friday, but this is at the same spot where BTC 10x. So ETH could 10x from here. Like, is your body prepared for that? That isn't hopium. That's just like
10x.
This
dollar
stuff
value or
yes, dollar value. Like this stuff happened with BTC, you know? Nobody saw that coming, right? Yeah. But what if it happens with ETH?
God, Josh, it's going to be the best dinner.
It's, again, not an expectation. It's not an expectation. People need to take this, you know, not as hopium, but I'm just saying, like, when BTC was at 2000 in 2017, zero people were calling for 20K. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. If you did, I didn't see it. But
let's talk about what that meant. The breach. Let's equate the 2013 Bitcoin all-time high of 1,300 and ETH. Just act like they're exactly the same because they're close. And then look at what the top was for Bitcoin. This is Raoul Paul's. This has been his justification. Base case. Base case for ETH is he's like, I think it's going to go on an exact same type of move as Bitcoin did. So if 2021 is to ETH what 2017 was to Bitcoin, then we are literally early, like full meme early, and like this is time to FOMO and like sit on your hands all year. And ride the parabolic train up for Ethereum. I am not ready for that. That's like 0.1 ratio type stuff, and Bitcoin like well into low six figures. That's what that means, right?
I mean, it might, sure. There's all sorts of implications. Like people are saying in the chat, the market cap would be absurd. I agree. Like none of that. Again, like in the moment.
Define why it's absurd for the market cap, though, because is it not realistic for Ethereum, the network? Ethereum, sound money.
Ultrasound money.
Ultrasound money. Ethereum, the landscape for all of DeFi to carry a large valuation, potentially as high as Bitcoin's current valuation, while Bitcoin, continues to moon.
I feel like the market's pricing in uncertainty about the future of ETH code right now, and the lack of just all-time highs, like pushing price discovery, I think is a big part of that. Obviously, fees are a massive part of that as well, but if you look at BTC 2000 versus this 2000, it looks very different. So yeah, just keep an open mind, people. That's all I'm saying, because you never know, right? Like. Be prepared. Be prepared for any scenario. Have some likely scenarios, but if you're shorting the top every $5, you might have to reevaluate your trading style.
I think we will see stories like Bitcoin is now valued more than Apple, that kind of thing, and I think that's well within the possibility. But Bitcoin is a currency, and Apple is a stock. And similar with ETH, it's like ETH hits $1 trillion cap. And that puts it would be the, fourth largest stock in the S&P. But those are singular stocks. This is an entire network with hundreds of platforms building on it. So
that's not even a lasting market cap either. That's just like, a headline, right? Like I don't expect ETH to hit 20K and then stay there, right?
Yeah, like, but I'm saying that's top. Just for a moment. Yeah.
Right.
Like right. That's well within the reasonable headline territory that it wouldn't shock me. It would,
as long as Bitcoin goes up. I agree. Yes. I mean, like the thing is, I don't think ETH BTC is going way past 0.1 would be like crazy to me. Maybe I'm like coping on the ETH front, but like that's already crazy to me.
I agree.
So it's like that would implicate that Bitcoin just giga moons on top of it, and then you get like 2x on ETH BTC, and then like a 5x on Bitcoin. I could see that.
Yeah.
I think both can happen.
I'm just looking at, again, back to stablecoins. It's like these prints on these stablecoins, it's just continuous millions and millions and millions. USDT is printing billions and billions and billions and billions all the time. It's just hard not to think like money keeps coming in, ETH and BTC keep coming off the exchange. Money keeps coming in. That's pretty easy to solve that equation.
It's harder for me to name a more bullish company than Walmart stacking Bitcoin as well, if that's true, because it's from a risk profile perspective of a company, it's like the polar opposite of a Tesla. And they also have a wonderful justification too, because they have they have the risks of like what's a better basket of goods from an inventory perspective than Walmart's. You know what I mean? Anyway, I just think that like they would be a really interesting company to announce that they're stacking Bitcoin, because I think that would truly open the floodgates. It's like, okay, Elon did it. Who's next? Who's the first like non-crazy person that's going to do it?
Well, there's some rumors about Apple too, but I don't think those came to fruition at all.
And Apple's got $150 billion in cash or something. So like an allocation for them would be like $1 billion is almost nothing, you know?
Yeah. I keep steering us back to ETH/BTC. Sorry. I guess we should talk about some alts. People were asking about.
Hold on, Luke. What were you going to say there?
I was just going to say it's just echoing what you were thinking. It's like it's much different when a tech company does it, especially when it's Elon Musk. But imagine like non-tech companies, like boring old companies with management that's been around 50, 100 years. It's like, oof, I don't know how you can't wake up to that and say this is a domino effect playing out.
Yeah, indeed. So what alts are we going to go over today? Let's see. We're 32 minutes in. Who wants to pick? Go for one.
Well, I was gonna we should divide it by sector, so it's like centralized exchange coins, decentralized exchange coins.
All right, let's do it. Where do you want to start?
So BNB.
Don, you're still driving. You want to drive?
Somebody pull up BNB for the love of God.
I'll pull it up.
It's pretty sure it's mega mooning today.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't want to shield my newsletter too much, right? But
shill it. What's the domain?
No.
It's trletter.com. And that called it pretty perfectly. We're watching this retest, that failed, and then the moment it reclaimed, we're like, okay, it wants to go, and it did. So, yeah, I mean, where does this go from here? What do you guys think? Because it's in price discovery, basically, even against Bitcoin.
Is this all-time high? This is all-time high for Bitcoin?
Against Bitcoin, yeah. Which is completely nuts, right? I mean, Bitcoin's at like 60K now, and BNB is at all-time high.
I don't think they announced their Q1 burn yet, but it should be coming out within the next couple of days.
I mean, just look at this.
Yeah. Well, we should have just all done it, all gone all in on that.
And that's a really good triangle consolidation on that USD chart.
Yep.
But that's a good proxy for like centralized exchange coins. Look at FTT. The FTT chart looks even more insane than that on the USD pair. Just straight up. Sam is just building a stairway to heaven, basically. It's insane. So I think all the exchange coins are doing well. 1 inch is at $5 again, somehow. I haven't looked at Uni today, but it's probably doing well.
Up slightly, yeah.
Well,
I think the Coinbase news is helping all that too. Like, as that eventually goes public, it's just going to drive these valuations so high. I know it's not the exact same because these aren't equity, but people are going to look at how much Coinbase is worth. Say they do X volume. Okay, Binance does Y volume. This is how much BNB should be. And that's going to keep driving this thing.
I think we could be entering that part, minus some of these days where maybe alts take a dive for like a day while Bitcoin impulses. We could be entering that part where alts do the relative trade moon. So like the BTC charts start to look ridiculous, whereas the USD charts already look ridiculous. To close the loop a little bit on that BSC ecosystem trade, or BNB, why it's mooning, there's still a ton of money flowing over there. I was looking at this earlier today because the PancakeSwap folks DM'd me and were like, hey, did you forget about the wallet where we sent you some cake, which was last September, and they just wanted me to try it. They sent me $100 worth of cake, and I just staked it and forgot about that wallet. And then when I made a video about it, I used a different wallet, which it didn't hold. But I forgot about that wallet, and that $100 is now worth $5,500 today. So it's like,
how long of a time period is that? You 50x'd it?
It's September to now, and that was, I didn't even compound my stake. Like, it probably should be $10,000. It should probably be 100x, because I was earning like 150% APY or something the whole time, but I was only staking like the first 100 cake that they sent me that were like $40 a piece or 40 cents a piece or something. But point being, you look at it today and it's like $18 and looks like it wants to go to freaking 40 or something, you know? And it's like, these don't even look like they're ready to stop. Like, people are piling in because BSC fees are cheap, and it still looks good. So I don't know when BNB is going to freaking stop, because the fees on ETH are, they're causing people to pile into places where the fees are not that way. So the BSC ecosystem is benefiting big time from that, and BNB is the ETH of that ecosystem. So yeah, it's I don't know when that's going to stop. Still looks good. That's what's crazy about it. Like, I didn't even sell the K. It's like, okay, I just got a 50x by not touching it, so I'm just going to compound it, restake it, and then just leave it there, see what happens. Maybe I'll come back and it'll be 50k. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
I wish I would have done that with my whole portfolio.
I think just generally, like, holding a basket of, especially through Q2, just holding a basket of these exchange coins, whether it be sexes or dexes, holding some of that, it seems like a smart play to me.
I mean, it doesn't really even matter like that you're not holding equity, right? Because I mean, crypto's always been about the memes, and I mean, the meme of Coinbase doing really well is going to translate to them either way, sure, right? So even if you're not subscribing to the, okay, I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? To say, okay, it's one-to-one transferable, but it doesn't really matter. If it's going to, like, if Coinbase is going to do well, like, there's no way, I think, that all these exchange coins don't do well as well. Just makes no sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. It's not equity. It's a meme. Governance is a joke. All these companies have equity raises like Uniswap and whoever else that is actually equity. So it's important to not think of it as equity, but that's what people treat it as, right? So yeah. I completely agree with you.
Ledger, you got people in the chat asking you about ZRX, and since we're on the topic of DEX and SEX coins, what are your thoughts? Some guy said he sold all his ZRX. Don't be like me. Some guy said he's looking to pile some money in. What's the ZRX chart look like? I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, it's basically just waiting for this extreme price discovery. The all-time high from 2017 was $2 on the weekly close, and it's just sitting there right under it. So this has been a slow trade for me. Like, I should have certainly traded other things while it was in this multi-week consolidation. I would have made a lot more money and then could compound it in right now, but it's not a sell here. It's a wait for this run. And I mean, I legitimately think it's going to run the fibs like we talked about with Aave and other stuff. I think ZRX is a fundamentally important project to DeFi, and they've made a commitment to multi-chain. Like, you can trade on PancakeSwap and other BSC stuff on some of their products already. And I think it'll be the pipes for the way on-chain trading works. So super bullish on ZRX, and yeah, send it to freaking $10. I'm gonna just like sit on my hands and wait. But price discovery will be what really kicks it off. So I'm certainly not gonna sell while it's like slamming against the ceiling to get there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd rather hold those exchange tokens than try to trade XRP or NEO or OMG or
right.
LTC, even though LTC probably looks really good after that last week close. Link even looks fine to me. Like, any of the non-dinosaur zombie coins look pretty good.
Yeah. Chat's also asking about like sushi. I can keep driving unless someone wants to. I heard there's a sushi unlock coming. Sushi tried to break down, but it's like not. I don't know. This is one of the harder ones from a USD perspective because it had that grind up, and if it was going to melt up, it should have done it then, but it broke down from it, and now it's kind of under that, and it just isn't really telling me very much from a USD perspective. But from a BTC and ETH perspective, it pretty much fully broke down. So like on a relative pair basis, I don't want to be in sushi versus ETH. It lost the trend, and then it looks like it wants to go run into this 200-day at least. So sushi I struggle with. It's pretty similar to what I talked about with Aave. Like, Aave could still break down. So outperforming ETH is going to be a challenge there, but they don't necessarily look terrible versus anything. Like, it's just, I don't know when they're going to outperform. Like, ETH is so strong that has to be my conversation for pretty much anything that I'm doing. And for what it's worth, it should also be the conversation on that ZRX comment that I made, except for ZRX is holding trend versus ETH. So I'm not like, this is not as bearish looking versus ETH as some of those others were that I just talked about. Don, what are you looking at there?
Yeah, I'm looking at XRP BTC. I mean, I was out like pretty much all weekend, and now I'm seeing this. I'm like, oh shit,
I gotta buy it.
I mean, that looks pretty damn good to me. Like honestly, like we've talked about this pattern before. Like that was even on the Dixie, right? If you remember back on the monthly, like this is the exact same pattern, right?
Yeah.
Where you have like you set your bottom and then you retest it, and you look at XRP BTC on the lower time frames. And I mean, lower time frames, this is a weekly chart, right? So it's not super low, and it looks the same, and it looks pretty damn good. So I'm gonna have to have that conversation with myself again. Do I want to buy XRP again or not? I mean, I might actually. This is actually one of the better looking charts in my opinion, and it's already tested the one resistance that it has to kind of beat. So I mean, it's not the worst trade. Because if it runs into here and it breaks that, like, where does it go? I mean, it's just going to double, triple, quadruple from there, which is insane to think about. But I mean, it's XRP. Wouldn't be surprised. So
yeah, I mean, EOS looks similar. Anything with the double bottom seems like a fine buy to me, regardless of what it is. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just not going to participate in that one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can make money, and then you can make money and like feel good about it. And I'm in the second camp most of the time.
Would you buy EOS or like TRX instead? Or do you just completely ignore those as well?
I've traded EOS. I will never touch Tron ever. For any
Why?
reason. I just won't. Like I said, you can make money and you can make money and feel good about it. It's just not for me.
That's fair.
But yeah, it looks great. Like chart wise, if I'm agnostic, it looks great. I don't know if it has much left in it as far as TRX is concerned. It looks like that move happened. That move is a indicator of what could happen for Ripple and EOS. That had a double bottom that broke up, and you're looking at like the expectation right there.
I mean, I honestly like. I mean, it might be done. I don't like TRX. I don't like EOS. I don't like XRP. But like from a chart perspective, for me, this just reclaimed the range, and probably gonna go up. Like, if I had to pick a position here, I would definitely want to be buying this, and then. I mean, this resistance has been tested already. I mean, if you get anything close to the support down here, it looks good to me. And if that fails, I mean, fine. Then it's back to the old scam. But until it does, it just looks like it wants to go. And then where does it go? Like here-ish? Which is like, what? 200%? Fucking hell. I hate scam season, dude. Like, I mean, I love it, but I hate it because I always have to kind of battle myself being like, do I really want to buy Justin Sun's coin and make him rich again? It's just so hard to do. But I mean, making money comes first, I guess.
Yeah.
That Tron chart being an indication of what could happen for XRP and EOS is making me, I mean, I like trading EOS and XRP and these old dinosaur coins. I just like the way they trade. So I don't know if it happens. That's the toughest part. Now that I'm holding XRP and EOS, I'll fully admit it. I am a holder. The toughest part is like, is my expectation that it scams up like or Tron, and how do you kind of decide when dinosaur season's over? So there's complications with it. It's easy for a second as everything breaks out, but then it's like, how far does the delusion run?
Well, I like those better than like ADA, for example, that already mega mooned, so that's more evidence to like rotate into.
I mean, I've just looked through like my Binance watch list that I probably haven't updated since 2018 or something. Bunch of crap is just going insane. Like, I don't know what Mithril is, but it's up 80% today.
I remember that one from back in the day.
A lot of.
Wait, what is that cap? What is that thing?
I have no idea. Like, even freaking Vinny coin Civic looks okay. Like, has been going up. Like a lot of stuff I just don't believe in that looks pretty strong. And that makes me a little nervous, you know. TRX, like you said, going ham. TRX BTC flipped the 200 week. No, I'm on a 200 day. Flips the 200 day, so that's sure, whatever. It's bullish. It's just what you were showing earlier, Don, like that kind of base and then thrust. We're seeing that in a lot of places. Freaking look at this. Like there's volume increasing on a lot of these old, like scammy looking coins. And this is not an encouragement to buy any of these. It's just saying like you're seeing people really spread out their risk profiles, right? As they go and accumulate some of this crap. And maybe it's not sustained for very long, but they don't look bad. I'm just
don't sound so excited there. Tezos BTC has the same W on the weekly as well. So I think all those will probably move together.
Oh, are we buying Tezos again?
I am not. I don't have
I'm
any
not
of
falling
stuff.
for Tezos. I'm not falling for
You'll buy Tron, but you're not gonna buy Tezos? Come on.
I understand how Tron and Ripple and EOS and these move. I understand that these things are just dinosaur platforms. I'm cool with it. I'm happy to trade them. Tezos, I still don't fully understand the scale now. I don't get it.
I mean, Lundad had this thesis that the moment people long Tezos, the entire market takes shit. So I don't know if that's gonna ring true again. But I mean, it's not looking too bad.
I mean, I don't know if this is a Tezos level, but like it looks better than that Tezos chart to me. But it's Algo. Like Algo USD looks crazy good consolidation. Algo versus BTC looks better than that Tezos chart, and it's like closer to its entry level. Like it didn't melt down quite like Tezos did, but like I think this looks really good if I was going to try to pick one of these random ones. At least Algo has a shot in the world, you know, like from a what it could do perspective. Like I'd buy that. I don't even know where I'd buy it. Probably, I guess on one of the centralized exchanges. But yeah, I mean, do you think I'm wrong on that?
I mean, I struggle. This is difficult to chart, I think. Like you could make an argument for this kind of range, and then you clearly kind of did the same thing that BNB did. Or you could argue for this being the bottom of the range, and then you'd add resistance right now. I don't actually mind it too much. I think this one's probably the best one. And then you get, like, take this one, and if you get it close above it, it's probably going to move towards next resistance, which is all the way up here.
Yeah, and it's already curling up on the daily, which is what I like. That's the type of trade that I would seek if I was going after these, rather than just chasing, like, what's the scammiest one? Like, I know that Algo has real community members, different type of community member, but you know what I mean? Like, people that truly believe, VCs that back it, yada yada. It's not just Justin like scam pumping his bag.
We should look at Filecoin. Speaking of scams,
did I call the top on that?
I haven't looked at it. I'm scrolling down the market cap list, just seeing. I didn't realize that Uni swapped Litecoin, or flipped Litecoin.
Yeah, like why would you buy that?
Oh shit.
Yeah, when I said if I owned any Filecoin, I'd be selling it everything right now. It was at 230, and people came at me like, rah 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 rah, you know, like you just don't believe, you're an idiot. This is the file storage future. Then someone went and just hammered it, like right after that. So I looked like a genius immediately. Of course, I didn't take a short trade on it, but I mean that thing hypermooned, and the 50-year market cap's like 500 billion.
Yeah, it's completely stupid. It's completely ridiculous. And I don't want to show my newsletter too much.
Do it.
But we did the same. Like this was a setup that, like, literally a setup that we put in the newsletter at 50, and it's now at 180.
But I never would have followed your advice in the newsletter because the market cap was so stupid from the very beginning.
I mean, it's completely ridiculous. Makes no sense whatsoever. Then again, like, I mean, that kind of fully diluted market cap has never really mattered too much in crypto, because otherwise, like, XRP overtook Bitcoin for a while. You had all that kind of crazy stuff. I mean, coins still go up. I think it matters in a bear market much more than it does in a bull market. And I mean, this is going to go down at some point, 100%. It's just a question of how high does it go in the bull market? And then, I mean, it's going pretty high.
I mean, we need to summarize the show and start to wrap it up. But I think you can, the way you can think about these is if you've already, like there's some relative values out there that we've already highlighted. So if you're already up 10x, 20x on something and it looks extended, it probably is extended. And people are going to be incentivized to roll out of them. I was looking at Helium, if y'all know HNT. I think it's kind of in the same bucket. And actually, a friend of mine has a really good justification for like why this is bullish. But at the same time, I was telling them like maybe take some profits. It's up 800% from where it broke out of consolidation. Like I even flagged it back there, didn't trade it. When I was talking about where I should have been instead of like waiting on that ZRX consolidation, I was looking at it right here at 420, and when it broke up from that, I should have bought it, and like I could be rolling a $4 coin to a $16 coin, and now rolling it back to ZRX at $1.95, and have 4 times the ZRX, and I should have, but I didn't. But you should realize this is what people are going to start doing. This is what people are going to start doing is they're going to roll their runners into the ones they think that can run, and this is second half of the bull market type of activity. You're going to see these things start to roll. And so your relative upside is not going to be as good on something that's done that unless it has a proof of a month or however long consolidating. Because what was the one? Alpha that I talked about. Like it's way up there, but it's also just spent 2 months in consolidation. So it might run up here finally. I talked about it 2 weeks ago. But now it looks like it's actually starting to follow through. So does it have a multi-month consolidation? Then sure, it might get that leg up. But if it just ran for like a month straight for another 2-3x on top of whatever it already done, I'm not interested. Sorry for
well said. No, I agree. I mean, if you remember back in 17 and 18, I don't know if you guys traded NEO actively.
Oh yeah, I did. I liked it.
Yeah, I loved that. I was all over NEO just based on the fact that I mean the narrative was just made so much sense. It was easy to sell basically. And give me an older chart. Jesus Christ, they're all so bad. Was it Bittrex? Yeah. And then you had NEO was basically the best performer, right, during even altcoin bear market in 17. And it ran up a shitload, but then once everything else went, NEO just put in like a 2x at the end of it, and then got back to its all-time high, its prior all-time high that it set like in the middle of 17, and then just dumped off, right?
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you that I mean these can run, and you're gonna get nice pumps, but if you're like kind of cycling into them for after a 10, 15, 20, 100x. And you're hoping for another 50, 100x, I mean, you might be sorely disappointed in that. And it's oftentimes that you just get people that take profit on these and then just move into the more shitty ones, in my experience anyway.
Yeah. It's impressive to say more shitty than NEO.
That's actually true, yeah.
But it's possible. But certainly rotation, no doubt.
That BTC chart looks good. So does Monero. Monero has a W on it as well. Speaking
Monero
of old coins.
I love all the coins. I want them all. They just all look good, man.
They do. They really do. As long as BTC doesn't break 60, I'm bullish on all those Ws for those BTC pairs. But as soon as we break 60 on BTC, it's over. It's all ogre, boys. It's all ogre.
But it looks imminently about to break 60. So Josh, is your thing of the week to look for Bitcoin to put the smack down on some of these relative pairs?
Yeah, 100%. I've got $1 million. So the Enzyme AUM for my on-chain non-custodial portfolio trading thing is 4 million. I'm waiting on 1 million till we break 60, and then I'm going to move it all into BTC. That's my action item for the week. That's all I'm looking at, really.
Don, what's your watch of the week?
I mean, I'm watching a lot of things because a lot of things look good, right? I mean, I'm looking at NEO. This interests me. I'm looking at BAT too. I was talking about this a while ago. Problem with BAT is that it's right at monthly resistance. but I want to see that break, and then I think it really goes. And then, I mean, basically my entire watch list suddenly started perking up and looking good, right? Even XRP looks good. I mean, if you're looking to the scammiest stuff possible, right? Even BSV does look good, in my opinion. Like it's starting to kind of, if you go on the longer time frame, this could easily run a little bit. Bitcoin Cash, same story. Like all of these are starting to turn up, the biggest scams of them all, basically. And I could see all of them run, honestly. So I'm looking at this kind of a scam season, like Bitcoin Cash, XRP, EOS, TRX, all the trashy stuff that I don't like. I think those are probably going to do well. So yeah, watch those.
Speaking of Bitcoin Cash, I saw that Roger's selling Bitcoin.com domain for 100 million minimum.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like
that's a good buy. If people selling for 69 mil, I feel like Bitcoin.com is a damn good buy.
Yeah.
I don't have 100 mil, but if I did,
I think there is a project out there that's going to take him up on it. Like,
yeah,
there are projects with a lot of coins that could afford it and would benefit, or an exchange maybe. I mean, it's not a bad domain. It's just got Roger's scumminess on it.
Yeah, and I think he should take that money and just ride off into the sunset, never to be seen again. Personally, that would be the best case. As far as I'm
concerned, he did that a long time ago. So,
yeah, that's good.
Why is he selling it?
I don't know.
He's very bullish on Bitcoin, I think. I don't know.
Maybe he needs to buy an island or something. Another one. Luke, what are you watching?
All right, let me pull up the screen here. Let's see. This one. Share. I mean, ETH is like the easy one to say you're looking at, but honestly, I like all the majors. ETH particularly interesting because this little consolidation that we have after the breakup, it looks like it's already breaking out. So it's Monday morning. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But if we do just start breaking out of this, I don't know how you can't be long ETHUSD. I mean, EOS, I've been long. XRP, I hate to say it. I did it this morning. It's insane, but like, why can you not long the majors when ETH is doing well? It's just a really good metric. Last week, I was looking at like smaller cap or mid cap DeFi coins. I'm just a lot less interested. It's a lot more Bitcoin now, now that we're above that monthly open. So long Bitcoin, long ETH, long EOS, long Ripple, long all the majors for me. So I'm looking at.
Yeah, and I'm on the same page as you. Like ETH is going to take my top focus. I do think it may lag Bitcoin for a day. If Bitcoin breaks up and goes like 60 to 66 in a day, I think that's the type of Bitcoin move that could occur. But I think Ethereum is on the whole going to maintain this recapture it made on ETH-BTC. And I think it's going to run really hard, like harder than people anticipate, because I think that a lot of the DeFi relative pairs will lag as people realize that it's time for the ETH move. And there's a lot of money that can flow back to ETH already on the ecosystem. And unfortunately, I think that'll put pressure on most of the like DeFi majors in particular, but maybe elsewhere. But I want to watch the ETH relative pairs. I am going to continue my ETH maximalism, carry largely ETH weighted positioning. And if I can't feel like I'm going to outperform ETH, I'm not interested. So sorry.
Makes sense.
No, well said. Yeah,
That's fair.
Well, I guess we'll leave it there. Thanks, chat, for hanging with us. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget, everybody, we do these on Mondays at 11 Eastern, and we are thankful that you're here to join us. We're thankful for Blockfolio for being our partner. Go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio. Go to weeklyopen.com and catch the replays. We've got a website up there with shows and everything. Yeah, we're thankful to be with you, to kick off the week with you. Go to weeklyopen.com/Blockfolio, download the app, make a seamless trade, go all in ETH with me. Not that that's financial advice or a trade recommendation, but it's what I'm going to do. We'll catch you next time.